Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us here on This Is Now. It's day 2 of the Democratic National Convention, and today's theme is, quote, a bold vision for America's future.
Former President Barack Obama and Michelle Obama are speaking tonight. Skylar Henry has the latest from Chicago.
Here in Illinois, we know a thing or two about electing presidents.
Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker looked to fire up delegates ahead of his speech this evening at the Democratic National Convention.
If we fight hard enough, in 77 days, we're going to send Kamala Harris and Tim Walz to the White House.
Last night saw President Biden pass the torch to Vice President Kamala Harris.
I felt that Joe Biden had given 52 years of great service to his country, and passing the baton on was very emotional and energizing for us.
Tonight, former President Barack Obama and former First Lady Michelle Obama are both scheduled to take the stage.
I'm looking forward to Michelle Obama. She's our idol, my idol.
As well as former Trump White House Press Secretary Stephanie Grisham, joining other Republicans speaking this week.
We're reaching across the aisle. Already, we are seeing Donald Trump lose support from his own party, including those who know him the best.
While the party gathers in Chicago, Vice President Harris and Governor Tim Walz are scheduled to campaign in Milwaukee. We caught up with a couple of young delegates from Wisconsin.
I'm surprised you guys aren't hanging out with the folks in Milwaukee today. Y'all are...
I know. Don't get me started on that. I was so sad because I really wanted to go.
There will also be a ceremonial roll call of states to make Harris the party's nominee. Democrats formally nominated her in a virtual roll call earlier this month. Skylar Henry, CBS News, Chicago.
Now, we do have a team there at the DNC, and our Daryl Huff spoke with the Hawaii delegation for their reaction to day one.
The more than 20,000 Democrats that were inside United Center last night are probably waking up late today after going through a 6-hour, highly orchestrated and emotional pep rally for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. But in the end, it was all about Joe Biden, who gave a very long and emotional speech that many consider to be his farewell elegy. We were there on the floor with the Hawaii Democrats when that emotional speech came to an end. How did you feel when Joe Biden was being honored so vociferously by this
overwhelming love for him and for his love for America, and that came through, and it just made me feel quite teary because he gave so much of himself to this country.
That generation, to their credit, it was about doing their best for the people, and that's what you witnessed here tonight, and it was a handing off of the torch.
I don't think it's going to be difficult to defeat, but it's going to take a lot of hard work, and it's on something that we're very committed to make sure that we overcome the inertia that this ticket has brought, for sure.
Even as protests echoed around Chicago, there was no mention of the Biden and Harris policy on Gaza last night. It could come up tonight during the ceremonial roll call of the states. Hawaii has the largest portion of delegates who are heading into that vote uncommitted because they want Harris to state a position tougher on Israel to end the bloodshed.
The movement of the uncommitted, I feel like, really helped push President Biden to recognize that he has to take a better stance on Palestine and the Middle East. And I think that he's really, that movement is a really big part of what pushed President Biden to step down and open up the new space for our future president, Kamala Harris.
You know, I'm a father, I've got 4 children, and I am just, you know, I'm to the point where the sorrow that I feel when I see innocent Palestinian fathers crying over 3, 4, 5 dead children. I can't take it anymore, and that's why I decided to get involved. It's just personal to me.
As of yesterday, 7 of Hawaii's 31 delegates were planning to vote present during the roll call, essentially not voting for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz in order to lodge their protest. Whether they'll change their minds and change their positions after what they went through last night remains to be seen. The big highlight of tonight is Barack Obama from Hawaii, a former president, making his speech, and that'll be a big deal to the Hawaii Democrats. Reporting from Chicago at the Democratic National Convention, Daryl Huff, Hawaii News Now.
Meanwhile, former President Donald Trump was in the battleground state of Michigan today. From a former sheriff's office in the rural town of Howell, Mr. Trump promised to back police if re-elected and get tougher on crime. Howell is the site of a white supremacist demonstration less than a month ago. On Facebook, the sheriff defended his community.
There's been a couple of folks that have come here to cause a little bit of a stir, spew some hate speech, white supremacy crap. Those folks are from out of town.
Crime in America is out of control. I'm going to make it, along with the economy, inflation, strong borders, and energy dominance, my top priority.
Trump is in the middle of a battleground state blitz, one of his biggest campaign weeks this year. Over the next few days, he's scheduled to hold events in North Carolina, Arizona, and Nevada. And some news out of Leeward, Oahu this morning. A man is in custody after he allegedly tried to hit an HPD officer with his car. This happened on Auvaha Street in Eva Beach around 11:30 last night. Police say when officers approached a suspected stolen car on foot, the 40-year-old driver then allegedly accelerated, injuring one officer when he fell on the hood. No word on the extent of that officer's injuries. The driver faces a first-degree attempted murder charge. A passenger in the car was also arrested for stolen car and drug offenses.
The nearly $2 billion sale of Hawaiian Airlines to Alaska Airlines is moving forward. The Justice Department essentially signed off in a subtle way by not saying no. Eddie Dowd has reaction.
Many people we talked to here at Honolulu's airport were just hearing the news for the very first time. They wanted to know what it meant for them as flyers and what are the next steps.
The regulatory review deadline has expired and the Department of Justice has not said anything to block or delay the proposal. Both the airlines and Hawaii's governor are calling that a significant milestone.
The DOJ is the hardest part because when JetBlue and Spirit were trying to merge, DOJ said no go, but the Department of Transportation, you're going to work out whatever nuances need to be. Usually, not an issue.
Aviation expert Peter Foreman says he was surprised the DOJ did not announce any kind of approval after multiple extensions in the review.
Obviously, there was somebody who was not happy with the way things were shaping up, so there had to be some negotiations going on in the background for all this time.
Alaska Air said it worked closely with Hawaii's Attorney General to secure plans to maintain the Hawaiian Airlines brand and service. And in a statement on Monday, the airline said the merger, if approved, will not affect union-represented jobs, which make up over 80% of Hawaiian Airlines' workforce. In December, Alaska's CEO did indicate non-union jobs might be impacted.
Problem with a merger is that you don't need two front offices. So there is redundancy there, and there will be elimination of some jobs in the management suites. That's the negative. But the positive is the vast majority of the jobs remain and they're secure.
At H&L, customers were full of questions.
As someone who flies a lot, my daughter just moved here, more flights, cheaper flights. Coming here would be amazing.
Nothing new on that yet, but Alaska's CEO did say this in December.
I can tell you about the philosophy and principles of Alaska Airlines. We focus on keeping costs low.
The airlines say the proposal will now head to the U.S. Department of Transportation for final review. A decision is expected within weeks. Eddie Dowd, Hawaii News Now.
Our First Alert weather team is keeping an eye on a developing tropical cyclone southeast of the islands. They've declared First Alert weather days for Saturday and Sunday. Drew Davis breaks down the science.
We are tracking a potential tropical cyclone that could impact Hawaii this weekend. This system could evolve to tropical storm strength or even stronger. That's why we are issuing First Alert weather days for both Saturday and Sunday, letting you know that impactful weather is ahead. The system that we were tracking last week passed to the south of us and did not receive a name. All eyes are currently on a region 1,300 miles southeast of the state. Satellite right now does not look impressive as of Monday evening, but this unstable environment is expected to develop a tropical depression in the coming days. The majority of weather models right now are keeping the system to the south of the island chain. However, a few members in the ensemble do pull this storm north, closer to the Big Island. The further north the system is and closer to the island chain, the more rain and moisture we'll see from it. Wind speeds will also increase depending on the intensity of the system. We'll have a better idea of intensity when this system actually forms and as we approach this upcoming weekend. Again, as of Monday evening, weather models are hinting that this system could reach tropical storm status, and depending on where it forms, it will receive the name Hector or the Hawaiian name Hone. The system is currently sitting around 140 degrees west longitude, which is the longitude that if a storm forms west of, it receives a Hawaiian name. We're going to be tracking the system throughout the entirety of this week. Make sure to stick with us as we're going to be updating things here, online, and on the H&N First Alert Weather app.
H&N investigates which Oahu neighborhoods are lacking fire hydrants. Allison Blair has more on the impact and the safeguards to protect properties.
Overall, the Board of Water Supply says fire hydrant spacing is considered satisfactory within communities it serves. It's the areas in between where fire hydrants are limited. When it comes to fire hydrant spacing,
it's all based on zoning.
According to Board of Water Supply standards, there should be a hydrant every 250 feet in areas zoned multifamily residential, commercial, or industrial. In single-family residential areas, there should be one hydrant every 350 feet, while land that's zoned as agriculture should have a hydrant every 700 feet. But the utility confirms there are some older neighborhoods in the Metro Honolulu area that don't meet that standard. Places like Kaimuki, Paoa, Pololo, and Manoa. BWS spokesperson Kathleen Pahinui told H&N Investigates, in general, fire hydrant spacing is satisfactory within communities it serves.
What is your definition of satisfactory?
It means that HFD and we agree that the community is well protected.
Meanwhile, in undeveloped areas between communities where the Board of Water Supply doesn't serve, Pahinui says hydrants are limited. Examples include areas along the Kaiwi coast, between Wahiawa, Whitmore, and Waialua, and Kunia Road, north of Royal Kunia. We asked the Honolulu Fire Department about the impacts of not having hydrants in those areas. The department said of the nearly 500 brush fires it responded to last year, only a handful, 7%, sparked in these specific places.
How does HFD know where the hydrants are located?
Our codes program, each truck has a computer that has that program running, so that we can easily distinguish where the hydrants are.
How often is HFD fighting fires where they don't have hydrants available?
Oh, it's actually pretty common.
When that happens,
we utilize our tankers. Tankers have 1,800 gallons of water. Our engines, majority of them have 750 gallons of water.
If there's a need, the department will deploy its helicopters. Firefighters are also trained to conduct relay operations.
You got your initial supply pumper at the hydrant, and we run our lines, and we can run them for, quarter of a mile.
The Board of Water Supply told H&N Investigates it's working to adjust the spacing of hydrants in communities where they're too far apart, saying the issue is most often addressed when a water main needs to be replaced.
We've had projects recently in Manoa. We've got a couple projects in the Diamond Head, Kaimuki area.
Meanwhile, there are things you can do to make firefighters' jobs easier. HFD has created a Ready, Set, Go action guide. You can find it on our website, hawaiinewsnow.com. Just click on this story. Allison Blair, Hawaii News Now.
Rescue crews are racing against time to find more survivors after a luxury yacht was hit by an unexpected storm off the coast of Sicily on Monday. One person has died, and as Chris Livesay reports, 6 people are still missing, including a tech billionaire and 2 Americans.
A disaster in paradise. It was sunrise in the Mediterranean, just a half mile off the coast of Sicily, when a ferocious storm Monday brought down the 184-foot super yacht named the Bayesian. The 6-suite luxury sailboat dropped anchor with 22 people on board, 10 crew and 12 passengers, according to the Italian Coast Guard. What they didn't know was lurking, a freak storm with waterspouts, tornadoes on the high seas, according to eyewitnesses. Rushing to the rescue was Captain Karsten Borner of a ship anchored nearby.
And after the storm was over, we noticed that the ship behind us was gone. And then we saw a red flare. Yeah. So my first mate and I went to the position.
They found 15 survivors on a life raft, including a 1-year-old girl in good condition, says her doctor. 1 body has been recovered. 6 people remain unaccounted for, including software magnate Mike Lynch, once described as Britain's Bill Gates, acquitted earlier this year of fraud charges in America. His daughter Hannah also among the missing, along with Lynch's American lawyer Chris Morvillo, a former assistant district attorney in New York, and his wife, and banker Jonathan Bloomer, chairman of Morgan Stanley International. This fisherman says he arrived shortly after their ship sank. But we only found cushions and debris, he laments. Now divers, helicopters, and speedboats continue to search for the missing, as well as for answers as to how a state-of-the-art super yacht could disappear in a flash. Police divers have been trying to access the hull of that super yacht. It's feared that's where the missing were trapped when that ship sank. However, accessing the area has proven difficult, with all of the luggage and the furniture blocking the way. Chris Lipsey, CBS News, Rome.
Let's send you live outside now to the White House. It is a beautiful day there. Stay with us. We will have more local news and a look at your forecast coming up.
How's it on this Tuesday? Around the state, at least in the immediate vicinity of the Central Pacific, things are looking fairly quiet. However, just on the border of the East Pacific and South Pacific, Central Pacific, we have this developing cyclone. It is expected to become maybe a tropical depression or a tropical storm and approach the state over the weekend. Over the weekend, we could get some severe weather. We're talking about some very strong winds, as well as a lot of rainfall. Saturday and Sunday have been declared first alert weather days, and those first alert conditions could extend maybe even into Monday and Tuesday. So now's the time to get prepared. Now, this morning, there's not a lot of going on. We do have a few windward and Mauka showers, but they're of the light variety, and they're moving through rather quickly. So we're going to see a really beautiful day today. It's the calm before the storm, so to speak. So prepare for that wet, windy weather over the weekend, because for today, things are looking pretty nice. Tomorrow should be pretty nice as well. Surf will be building. Today, we got a peaking swell for south and west shores. Conditions will be pretty good, slightly choppy. And keep in mind, on Wednesday, we got a significant swell rolling into north and west shores. So again, we got some pretty nice nice weather through Friday. Winds are going to get winds are going to start to step up on Friday as well. And we have first alert weather days on Saturday and Sunday, especially for the east end of the state. Hawaii Island and Maui County will see the effects from that tropical cyclone or possible tropical cyclone about that time. So get prepared now. We're talking about a lot of rainfall as well as some gusty winds which could produce power outages. And then on Monday, there still could be some lingering conditions. So now is the time to get prepared.
Coming up on Spotlight now, we focus on the University of Hawaii.
We'll be catching up with UH President David Lassner as well as Athletics Director Craig Angeles as the UH season is just around the corner. Catch us on Spotlight at 1 p.m. on K5.
In today's news from the feeds, Disney says it will waive arbitration in a wrongful death lawsuit filed after a woman suffered a deadly allergic reaction at a restaurant at Disney World. Initially, Disney argued that the case, filed by Jeffrey Piccolo, should be dismissed and resolved by individual arbitration because of terms he agreed to when he signed up for a free trial of Disney Plus and when he purchased park tickets. Disney said in a statement shared with NBC News today that given the sensitivity of the case, quote, we've decided to waive our right to arbitration and have the matter proceed in court. Piccolo's wife, Dr. Kanapkorn Twangswan, died in October of last year after consuming food containing allergens at a Disney Springs restaurant. Her death was ruled an accident. According to the lawsuit, the couple asked the waiter several times if the food was allergen-free. Piccolo filed the lawsuit against the restaurant as well as Disney, seeking damages in excess of $50,000 under the Florida Wrongful Death Act.
A blue supermoon is being photographed across the globe. Leah Mishkin has more on the rare occurrence.
Bright above the Sydney Opera House, rising above the Eiffel Tower and the Temple of Poseidon. The rare blue supermoon is being photographed by crowds all over the world. This is the first supermoon of 2024.
It was impressively orange here in London.
Dr. Ed Bloomer is Senior Astronomy Manager at Royal Museums Greenwich. He says its orange appearance is not what makes it a supermoon.
And around the world, there's been a few things like wildfires, putting a lot of kind of smoke up in the air. There's pollution as well, and also when it's low on the horizon, a bit like when we're getting sunset and we're getting the reddening of the sky.
So what is a supermoon? According to NASA, it's when the moon is at or near its closest point to Earth at the same time as it is full, making it look larger.
It's an optical illusion, which is kind of interesting.
This supermoon is also a blue moon, not because of its color, but because of when it falls on the calendar.
Generally speaking, it's the third full moon in an astronomical season.
And how rare is that to have the two occur at the same time?
They sometimes come in clusters, but it's pretty rare.
Inspiring many to look up. Leah Mishkin, CBS News, London.
Hawaii News Now is proud again to partner with the Hawaii Food Bank for the annual Food Drive Day. We'll be out and about on Saturday asking for your donations to help feed Hawaii's hungry. Casey Lund has the details.
Aloha from the Hawaii Food Bank. We really want to drive the message home that this Saturday is a huge effort, really the whole community coming together to help our neighbors in need. I want to talk about the need that exists, especially here on Oahu, but really throughout the state. Danny Schlag with us, the Marketing Communications Director for the Hawaii Food Bank. Thanks for having us over here today. We know we might sound like a broken record this week, but we really want to get people out there. And your colleague Kate is going to talk to us a little bit about how your dollar can go further this year, too. But I want to talk about the need. You know, we remember those images from the pandemic, people lining up at Aloha Stadium and elsewhere. Tell us how things are right now. I know we also just came through the Maui disasters as well.
Yeah, all of these things combined, I think, whether it was the wildfires, this lingering kind of after effect from the pandemic, people still getting on their feet, the current levels of inflation, those high grocery prices, the need is really actually still continuing to remain persistently high. About 1 out of every 3 households here in the state are struggling with food insecurity, meaning not everyone in that household has enough food to live a healthy life.
It's difficult because, we're seeing people that maybe thought they would never have to rely on the food bank. And that's a tough it's a tough pill to swallow, asking for that help. But that's what you guys are here for, right?
Yeah, the food bank, at the end of the day, we're here to help. That's the major message we want to get out to folks. It doesn't matter what situation you're in, if you're facing long-term food insecurity or you're just on hard times, Food Bank is here to help.
Very good. And let's talk about helping this Saturday. Again, the annual Food Drive Day. Kate Dale with us, the Director of Giving, Community Giving. Tell us a little bit about, of course, you guys accept donations. Some of the best come from your wholesale partners, I know. Those bigger shipments and incoming shipments of products, I guess I'd say, but also monetary donations. They really go far.
Yeah, so we really are able to stretch a dollar thanks to our partnership with Feeding America. So we can really make the dollar go way farther than somebody just going to purchase something in a grocery store.
And then speaking of dollars, by the way, we have some great partners. Of course, all kinds of different businesses and groups participate in the Food Drive Day, but you guys got a pretty good piece of news recently, right?
Yes, thanks to our amazing partners at First Hawaiian Bank, who generously donated $50,000 towards a matching gift opportunity. Dollars are doubled.
Good. And so that means if you donate $1, that's $2 during the Food Drive Day. So we want to thank First Hawaiian Bank. We want to thank the Hawaii Food Bank for all that you guys do. And a reminder that we'll be out. A lot of the H&M team will be scattered across Oahu accepting your donations and raising some awareness and funds for our neighbors in need. If you can't make it out this Saturday, you can go to hawaiifoodbank.org/donate. We have that link at hawaiinewsnow.com. We'll send things back into the studio for now.
Mahalo, Casey. Please come out and see us Saturday.